Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would talk with you guys and gals about a quote Louie Simmons said a number of times in seminars I heard over the years, and that was that he would try and recommend that you try to get as strong as possible with the lightest weight possible. Now, that sounds like a contradiction when you have someone who literally believes in doing max effort on multiple exercises, like on in average 2 exercises every single week, right? Because he's like, look, you take these exercises up to a 1 rep max, right? You go up to a 1 rep max. Now, of course, he permitted in some cases 2 rep and 3 rep maxes, but the idea is the same. Max effort is max effort. So people hear that and then they're like, well, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You have people go crazy as hell, right? You have people doing 700-800 pound lifts at the gym every single week, talking about get as strong as possible with the lightest weight possible. Till you realize he's talking about your supplemental work, okay? As he always said, max effort is 5% of our training, and he's always like 70% of your training should be, as he called it, special exercises, which means bodybuilding work. So what do you see me doing right there? Pause incline with the barbell, okay? Notice it's all pause. It's a long range of motion. That's exactly what he's talking about. Like I'm over here using 225. And the best I've done on that here at the young age of 48, I've done 10 reps before with that pause, right? That's what he's talking about. Or after this next set of little max effort stuff you see me do. You see me do some dumbbell incline work. I'm only using 75s. Now granted, here's a 505 box squat on a low box. So again, this is the contrast, right? You saw me doing a heavy triple on the bench. You see me doing some heavy box squatting in the 500 plus pound range, doing all that stuff. But then when we get to all the supplemental work, what's it look like? What's all that supplemental work look like, guys? Well, it's light. It's light. Throughout this video, in between all this heavy stuff, you'll see me doing presses with 75-pound dumbbells. And guys, my best bench here raw has been 365 pause. Right, for a 2 count. So 75-pound dumbbells for still a chest press? Doing tricep extensions and stuff with like 65, 75 pounds? Right? Do tricep extensions, incline ones with 28, 25-pound dumbbells? Really? Front raises with a 45-pound plate, all that kind of stuff. Even through here, you'll see me doing some good mornings, like light good mornings for really high preps with less than 200 pounds. Okay? There's a 600-pound deadlifter. Now, granted, I'm a master's lifter. If I was open, these things wouldn't be as impressive. But you guys get the idea. Bodybuilding work. Okay, so perfect example. Take these dumbbells. This is what Louie is talking about. Taking a dumbbell incline, bringing it down, pausing it, right? Getting a pause at the bottom, getting a good stretch, a good contraction, and just focusing on building muscle. Why? Because we're not trying to beat ourselves up. Okay? At the end of the day, this is a concept you see modern bodybuilding coaches today are saying the same thing, but they've given it a special name. They call it stimulus to fatigue. Louie Simmons was talking about this 30 years ago. This is literally what he meant. Taking a really light dumbbell and just doing really high reps, slow, controlled, full ranges of motion, squeezing, contraction. Doing stuff in the 10 rep range, 20 rep range, 30 rep range. Right? This is a normal part of Westside's training. This literally sounds like what a lot of modern bodybuilding coaches talked about, stimulus to fatigue. In other words, he's like the lighter weight won't beat you up the same. Like just take high rep sets to failure. Right? Slow them down, control them. And again, Keeping in mind, this is also someone who promoted dynamic effort work. So this doesn't make sense. A lot of people are like, what do you mean? All this dynamic stuff, he's talking about stretch reflexes. He's talking about exploding. He's talking about what are we doing now? What in the heck are we doing? What's this conversation we're having? And it confuses people. Confuses people because they didn't understand he was talking about 3 training modalities. Okay? He wanted 5% of your lifting to be all out heavy. We're talking straight up maxes. Oftentimes for singles. Then he wanted about 25% of the training to be dynamic work. Lightweight against bands, against chains, using as much compensatory acceleration as you could use. But then everything else was about, let's just bodybuild. Let's do lots and lots of training volume, sets to failure, work these muscles from different angles, get a squeeze, get a contraction, get a pump, but use light weights and just pump the shit out of everything. Why? Because he's like, well, now we need to get big, right? In other words, he's like, you build big shoulders, you have a big bench. You spend some time really building your triceps. You work your triceps from 3-4 different angles with cables, with dumbbells, with chains, with bands, with machines, whatever you could find. Work all those angles. Build the hell out of those triceps. Same thing with your back. He's like, pull-ups, rows with dumbbells, rows with barbells, right? Machines, lat pull-downs, pull-up shifts, whatever you have to do. Get in and just build that back. And the reason for the light weights, so that you can recover, so that you're not beating yourself up, because again, he understood we only need a handful of reps. Your body can only handle a handful of really heavy reps every week. And once you reach that threshold, it's no longer about lifting heavy. All you're doing is destroying your recovery. At that point, it becomes about getting in and just building muscle. Literally just bodybuilding. And you want to note that granted, some of them are fat, but you take away the ones who were fat at Westside, they look like bodybuilders. Look at a lot of the shirtless things. They look like off-season bodybuilders, like pro bodybuilders. Why? Because they trained like them with this same idea. Volume, 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 volume. Chase stimulus, keep fatigue low, build the hell out of everything. That was the idea, and it worked. Right? He was basically talking about stimulus to fatigue in bodybuilding work. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.